Hey everybody, it's Dr. Steve Hoffman back with another episode of Core Wellness TV. I'm in the woods with the birds and the bees and the squirrels at Vissing Park today. And today is Friday. We're kicking off Independence Day 2016, the weekend into Independence Day. I know you guys all be out having fun, picnicking and having a good time with your friends, but I want to give you a couple of strategies, two things. One thing, I'm going to give you a very important mindset shift that can help you break a chronic pain cycle. Okay, and I'm going to give you a new self-test that I just came up with that will help you determine whether you're properly correcting your posture when you're correcting, or if you're doing it in a man-made way. We don't want for anything to look artificial when we're correcting our posture. We want it to look natural and organic, just like a baby pushes away from support points to become upright. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to kind of tweak on the push away posture and show you a few tricks on how to do that. Before we start that though, we always are sponsored by Core Wellness Institute, which is the whole coaching and training program I have online. And that for Independence Day 2016, we are doing a very special thing for enrollment until the end of the day on the 4th. So from now until the 4th of July, into the 4th, 2016, we're going to have a special enrollment period where you're going to save some money and get some extra coaching from me. You can get details on that at gettoyourcore.com/Independence 2016. Okay, so you can save some cash and get some coaching from me. And so if you're interested, you've been on the fence for a while and you want to dip your toe in and take me for a trial, it's a great time to do it. So into the content. First thing is the approach or the avoid mentality. Are we going to approach a problem? Are we going to avoid it? And there's even a word for it in pain literature. It's called avoidance behaviors. What does that mean? That means if I hurt my back and I go to the doctor and he takes an x-ray and of it and says, oh my gosh, you have degenerative disease in your spine. You should be careful lifting. Okay, the curse has been put on you, right? Or you have a disc disease. You should not ever lift more than 50 pounds or whatever. And you have this disease mentality in your head. You're going to think, oh my gosh, I'm very fragile, so I better not lift that box, okay? And so you avoid doing things that could potentially hurt you, right? Because you're fragile, you're breakable, right? Well, we're going to, that's the first most important thing is, for instance, it's just come up a lot lately. People with chronic low back problems for long periods of time, they just avoid lifting, right? Or if they do, they say, I always lift with my legs, right? And that's really, it's about learning how to do it properly. And you approach the problem saying, hey, if it hurts to lift, I better learn how to do this. I'm going to take an active approach and I'm going to build my tolerance, build my anti-fragile muscles, right? Become anti-fragile. And you do that by changing your mind and learning how to move your body correctly and efficiently. That creates centration around your spine, creates a safe, neutral spine, and you lift appropriately. Okay, for instance, when we lift, right? If you lift and you bend your legs and you do this kind of number when you lift, you're still going to hurt your back. You're going to injure yourself. So the first thing you do is you create stiffness around your center. Can you create stiffness? Right? Can you create it? And can you move from your hips rather than from your spine? Can you do this? And I've talked about the hip hinge tons of time, but that's what I'm talking about. Approaching the problem, learning how to do it correctly so you can build a tolerance, lift, and say, hey, wow, if I just do this and I learn how to use my glutes to lift and I learn how to use my shoulder blade depressors to help me lift stuff, then I can lift a lot of things and I can do well. And your brain gets whenever you have this active approach, your brain gets dripped little chemicals. They call them the descending inhibitory pathways in the science literature, but it's like your body drips you little morphine drips. Literally, they're endorphins and enkephalins and things like GABA and all that kind of fun stuff that suppresses pain overall in our body. Okay? So it's descending inhibitory pathways. We can block pain by taking an active approach. Simple enough. So what's the active approach for a back? So someone who has a fragile back, quote unquote, with degenerative disc disease, learn how to use it correctly, right? If you're, of course, this is all the stuff we do in the course. I coach you through things like this. I also have some YouTube stuff on how to lift correctly. If you're on my site, go PostureDoc and how to lift correctly. You just have to learn how to do it. Approach it versus avoiding it. Avoiding equals more pain. and it makes you seek out passive solutions. I'm going to go get my adjustment from my chiropractor, and always it feels better, and then I don't do it. But if I don't do anything for myself, I'm going to wind up in the same condition. I'm always seeking passive care, someone else to fix me. Oh, I can take this pill. Oh, I can get that massage. Oh, I can get that chiropractic adjustment. Oh, I can have what, you get the idea? All right, so that's active versus passive. And speaking of independence, this is approach mentality gives you independence. And that's an active approach. A passive avoidance mentality equals dependence. It's all about independence, guys. Independence and freedom. So that's the mindset piece. Now, the self-test I wanted to show you about whether you are correcting your posture organically or not. Well, here's the biggest mistake I see whenever people try to employ the push-away phenomenon, as I've talked about that. Just a quick review. The natural way that we develop our posture is through pushing away from support points as a baby. We push away from our elbow, we push away, and we keep doing that, and there's a natural, the shoulder blade naturally goes down, and there's this nice open feeling that happens when you have that intention of pushing away. But what I see is when people try to do it, there's too much over dominance or too much dominance of the front muscles wanting to work as they push away, right? If you're going to push away from here, I see a lot of the pec work, and I don't see enough scapula or shoulder blade going down. So here's what we're going to do. And I'm remembering a yoga class I took 15 years ago. The teacher talked about banker's pose, right? Where you pretend like you got your thumbs in suspenders, like you think a banker with suspenders, right? But anyway, that's banker's pose. But what that does is, if you can get your thumbs up there, that puts your thumbs on your pec muscles, okay? So you'll know if you're overusing them because you'll feel them contract into your thumbs, right? If you just get right here and think about pushing away, I'm getting a lot of action into my thumb. So, and you should have a nice balanced action of the muscles in the back and the pec muscles in the front, but it needs to be balanced. So I see too many people over going this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the thumbs underneath, and then you're going to do the push away phenomenon, act like you're pushing away from the points on your hands, your base of your thumb and the base of your pinky here, right? You're going to get that there, and you're going to push away, and you want to see everything and feel everything go down in the back without feeling your pecs activating into your thumbs. Okay, does that make sense? You're going to try that. You're going to get here, do it with me. And the other thing you want to make sure you're not doing is whenever you do that, you don't want to let your ribs, okay, because that's not correcting anything. That's just overloading your spine. That's the way most people correct posture, is they go and they throw their ribs out in the front. The ribs always stay flat. There should always be should look like Kansas here, not the Rocky Mountains, right? Kansas, not Colorado, right here. So here we are. You're going to push away, get long, and see how everything goes down in the back, but there's no change in the front, and there's no activity into my thumbs. You should be able to do that. Now, of course, with a strong push away, there will be a little bit of pec activity at the end, of course, but we have to be able to use only the depressors in the back without activating in the muscles in the front. So that's a little trick for you, and it's actually a really good exercise too, just to practice that. If you're wondering, how do I get good posture? How do I correct my forward head? Well, you can't correct your forward head unless you get more movement into your thoracic spine. The forward head correction comes from your T4 or your T4 through 6 area going down, and your head naturally comes back. Okay, but you just remember, you can't. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't help anybody, right? That's all your energy goes spilling out the front, and you've lost your power, right? Maintain your center of power. One more time, banker's pose. Anti-gravity system kicks on. Guys, use that approach mentality versus avoid mentality. Do your banker's pose test and have an awesome Independence Day 2016, and I hope to see you inside the Core Wellness Institute. Remember, gettoyourcore.com/Independence 2016. Right, we'll see you guys later. If you have comments and you're watching this on YouTube or questions for me, I always answer all my questions at the blog, not on YouTube. I had actually someone ask me on YouTube, why don't you answer the YouTube questions, right? Because basically hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments come through, and it's like I just reserve my communication when people come to my house rather than just meeting them on the street. Does that make sense? YouTube is like meeting them on the street or seeing somebody passing by I've never met before, but if I invite you to my house over at the blog, then we can communicate, okay? So that's where it happens, and of course, all course participants get a lot more interaction with me as well, so that's another level up. Anyway, that's it. Have a great day again. Be safe with everything you do this weekend, and actually just keep pushing away, right? Keep pushing away and keep that intention of growth, renewal, and expansion. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.